Today we will be looking at the new DDM database statistics page. The DDM database statistics page is a new addition for the DDM 2026.04 release. We're going to look at what statistics are available and how these can be used to manage your database. This can be found in the admin client under Maintenance and Database Statistics. The database statistics is split into a number of sections. The first section we'll be looking at is the server disk statistics. This section shows us how much disk space is being used and how much is free and the total disk size. This allows you to monitor the usage and take action before disk space becomes critical, either by using some of the other tools available in DDM to free up disk space or to acquire new hardware. So the way this works, the first thing you'll need to do when launching the disk statistics is to refresh the table. So the reason you have to refresh the table is because these queries run against the entire database. Running them automatically would put unnecessary load on your database. Once refreshed, the table below will be populated. So this table will show us a list of all servers that are available, the disk size of each server, how much of that disk space is used, how much is available, what percentage is being used, and when the table was last refreshed. Each of these columns can be sorted and filtered. Under the right-click menu, we have the sort ascending and descending, and we have the filter editor as well. And they can also be sorted by left-clicking the column header. And above this, we have a search function. So if we have multiple servers available, we can search for one in particular. And then we finally have the export to Excel option. If you export the data to Excel, it will be exported exactly as it appears in this table. So if you've applied any filters or searches, that's the information that is displayed is what will be exported. This is useful as it allows you to review the growth of your data over time. It highlights when is a good time to use DDM tools to remove unnecessary data and plan upgrades before space becomes critical. The next section is the CAD version statistics. So this table shows us how many different CAD file versions you have in your database. And this matters because a wide spread of file versions can indicate that the CAD version update has not been run recently. Older file versions may also introduce additional overhead when opened into a newer CAD release, as files must be converted on load to this new version of the CAD tool. This file change will also flag files for save even though the user has made no change. So again, the way this works, we have to refresh the table to initially populate the data. And as with the previous section, we have the same functionality available. We can sort each of the columns and we have the search functionality and filters. In this table, we can see the item type, the CAD type, the CAD version, and the quantity that match those previous criteria. So we can see in here that I have some assemblies for Creo Parametric, and I have versions 12, 11, and 10. When we see lots of data across lots of different CAD versions like this, it indicates that it will be a good time to use the version updater. The version updater can be found under CAD and neutral files, CAD settings, and then if the CAD version updater is available for your tool, that we found at the bottom. So here we can see the Iron CAD version updater. Now if I launch this, this will give us all of our options available to run the version updater. If I turn off the latest issue though, you can see I've got the 2025, 2026 and 26 file versions. So running the version updater will bring these all up to date to the 2026 version that I'm currently running, and remove that additional overhead on load and save. If we return to the database statistics, we will now look at the file purge statistics. This section shows us the number of files that could potentially be removed using the file purge tools. Now, when reviewed alongside disk usage, this provides a clear opportunity to reclaim disk space without additional hardware investment. So again, we have the same features. We need to refresh the table on first load to update the information. We have the same functionality to sort each of the columns and filter, and we can also search at the top. And what this table shows us is based on the item types. We've got parts and assemblies, drawings and documents, the state of the item, how much disk space could potentially be saved by purging the files. The way this is calculated is we use the number of items to retain on purge, which is set in the status, which we'll have a look at in a moment. And then it assesses the data to tell us how many files will be kept and how many could potentially be purged. And at the top of the screen, we can see an indication of the total disk space saving if we were to purge all of these files. In order to purge these files, we need to head to Items and then States. If we right-click on one of the states, so we'll look at Released initially and select Edit, we can see at the bottom of this first page that for my released items, Purge file versions on arrival at this state is currently checked, and it will purge it down to the last 2 files that were saved. And we can modify this value in here if we wish. If I select the Purge file versions now, I can override the automatic value if I wish. And if I select Next, it'll give me a summary of what will be purged and the amount of data that will be saved. If I confirm this, those files will be removed from the database. Even though this state has automatic purge, additional files can be created through the running of the CAD version updater and through the action client. Now on the released items, they are typically purged when they reach that state. If we look at the work in progress, now these are not automatically purged, and I've set my number of file versions to be retained to 5. The reason I've done this is I want the data to better reflect what can actually be removed from my database. So I've increased the quantity here so that not so many files are indicated for removal when using the file purge statistics page. Now this is useful. With the data regarding your available disk space now available, this is an area that can be investigated for saving on that data. If we return to the database statistics, and this time we're going to look at item and folder statistics. The item and folder statistics page shows us a few details. Firstly, it shows us a table for each item type. And within that table, we can see how many items we have at each state. So for parts, I can see I have 74 at work in progress, 51 released, 1 under review, and 16 superseded. After the item types, we then have the same information, but for folder types. So we can see each of the folder types in my database, the states they are in, and how many sit at that state. So again, first of all, we need to refresh the table to update that information. Again, we have the ability to sort and filter the tables. Obviously on the items, there's no real need there. But on folders, you may be wanting to look at specific folders, for example, projects, and see how many different folders I have at the various states that are available in my database. Because we have multiple tables, we don't have the ability to export this information to Excel. So this is useful as it allows you to monitor the process and state flow. Items should move towards release over time. Folders and items that remain at work in progress or checked or move slowly may indicate issues within your process flow. So further investigation may be required. So for example, in my database I have 75 items that are currently work in progress for assemblies. Only 14 released, 1 under review, and 4 superseded, so these items may not be moving through my process as quickly as I'd like. The next section we'll look at is user statistics. So again, I will refresh the table. The user statistics shows us the number of unique users that have logged in per month against each of the clients, the admin, office, and web. And at the end, it shows us a total and an average over that 12-month period. In replicated environments, this data is taken from all of the available servers. Now, this is useful as understanding actual usage helps balance licensing cost and access. So if you see a trend of increasing unique logins, it may be time to review the number of licenses you currently have, or if you see the inverse, a decrease in usage, you may want to investigate reducing the number of licenses. So now I've refreshed the table, I can see for the admin client when a unique user has logged in each month, likewise for Office and Web on a month-by-month basis. Again, we can filter this information, so if I want to look specifically at the web client, if I search for web, we can see that. I can organize by any of the columns, and we have the option to export to Excel, and again, as the data appears on the table at that time. So this helps us identify if we have any inactive users and optimize the number of licenses within the database. For a more detailed view on the licenses, you can review the license section under maintenance, where there are a few more tools available. So we can see information like license logs and generate reports. Next, we will look at items with refresh parameters. This section shows us the number of items in your database that currently have the refresh parameter set to yes. So any parameters that are mapped into the CAD environment that have been changed in the Office environment will set the refresh parameter to yes. These models and drawings will need to be updated with that new information. So parameters that are mapped are usually attributes that are being used on the drawing, for example, the part number, the description, and the issue. If these are updated in the Office environment and not in the CAD environment, the drawings will not be kept up to date. So DDM detects when these changes occur against parameters that have been mapped to your CAD environment and marks those as requiring a parameter refresh. And now when an item is marked for parameter refresh, every time a user loads that item, they will be prompted to save the items that had the parameter refresh. So this is something you may see on assemblies. Again, we have the options to sort each of the columns in this table and filter, and we can also search at the top. So if I specifically want to look at parts, for example, I can filter down just to the parts, and I can export this information to Excel. Now, if I want to resolve the issues of these refresh parameter components, we can do that using the action client. So if I navigate over to the action server for Solid Edge, we can see that I've got the update parts that require refresh parameters and update the assemblies that require refresh parameters. If I select show quantity to process, we can see that I have one parameter refresh item. So if I run this, this would clear the items that exist within Solid Edge that have the refresh parameter flag. It doesn't include the drawings, as when a drawing requires updating, that means the content of the drawing has changed, so we'll likely need a up issue. We head back to database statistics. We will look now at missing neutral files. The missing neutral files for each CAD type shows us the number of CAD files that are missing neutral files based on your neutral file settings within the Action server. Neutral files are typically generated to improve the sharing of information with customers and suppliers, or even other departments, and missing neutral files require the manual creation of those files when needed. So if I refresh the table to update that information, you can see I've got a number of files that are missing from my database. I can see in the first column the item type, so assemblies, drawings and parts, the CAD environment that the items are relevant to, and then the file type where the neutral file is missing. As I mentioned, this is based on the settings within the Action client. So we can see here I've got a number of IronCAD and I've got some SolidWorks parts. If we go back to the Solid Edge section and I turn on a few file types here, head back to the statistics and refresh, we can see those new Solid Edge items have been added to the list. So if you have got a number of items here, this is a sign that it will be worth running your action client to resolve the issue. So this is useful because this indicates that some of the files have not yet been produced. This could be due to issues with the files themselves or issues with the machine that's running your action client, and essentially highlight that an investigation is required. So next we will look at the number of problem items in the action server. As per the missing neutral files, this specifically shows the number of items that have been reported in the action server problem log. And this data can point to one of two things: items that have failed to have their neutral files produced, or items that have failed during the parameter refresh if the parameter refresh option is set in your action server settings. This means neutral files are unavailable on demand, and items require save for the users when they are loading assemblies and items with the refresh parameter flag. And this section provides just a quantity here, so there's no table to sort or search, and no need to export the information to a Excel list. But we do have the option here to go to the action server problem items. So in this table here, problem items log, we can refresh, and if we had any problem items we would see a table of that information, and we can see the important information, which is the item number and description and issue. So we can investigate those items as to why they haven't produced if it's not a problem with the action client itself. The problem items log can also be found under CAD neutral files and action server. So again, this indicates that investigation is required into the parts that are listed to clear the issues that's causing the error. So the purpose of the database statistics tool in general is to give you more visibility and understanding of your database in a single place, and to reduce blockers and friction and manage the health and quality of your data.